So what's it like going from 72 volts to 66 volts on the Sur-Ron?
5, 6. All right.
That's coming right up. Hey everyone, my name is Rick Cordero. Welcome to RunPlayBack, where we help you with EV tech tips to lead a more efficient and affordable lifestyle. Let's be creative and save money at the same time. Today we're going to check out ChiBatterySystems 66 volt 42.5 amp hour Gladiator compact battery for the Sur-Ron. Previously we were using the 72 volt 38.25 amp hour battery. We'll talk about the power, speed, and range of the 66 volt Gladiator on both the stock controller and the ASI BAC4000, and then test it out on the road. So let's get to it. So why would you want 66 volts and 42.5 amp hours on the Sur-Ron? Well, it means that you get 20% more power on a stock controller and 22 kilowatts of continuous power on an aftermarket controller. It also features 2,745 watt hours with a range that can vary widely depending on where and how you like to ride. But generally, the larger the watt hours, the longer the range. Since we've upgraded our controller to an ASI BAC4000, using this battery will not be an issue. So here's what you need to know. All right, new package from ChiBatterySystems. Looks like hardware for the battery lid. The older version of this was 3D printed. Now it is injection molded. These are the risers for the battery lid as well. So I think this is some sort of scratch marker. It's matte black. Even the instructions are really high quality, printed in color. And here is the variable charger. So this is the Gen 2 Gladiator 66 volt compact 42.5 amp hours, 2,754 watt hours. As you can see in the front, this is all laser etched. The entire enclosure is made out of steel. The top lid is made out of injection molded plastic. You have this metal plate that's surrounding the display. Up here is where the battery leads are located. In Gen 1, it was coming out of the back. The strap handles are actually part of the enclosure. And then back here is the charging port. Also, you have the ChiBatterySystems logo. So what's great about this display is it has all of these settings in real time, and you don't actually have to open up an app. It's all right here on the display. Even the quality of the display looks great too. You have the manufacturer's date right here in the back, and on the bottom you have this kind of rubber protector. This looks like really high quality. So almost all of our content is made for free, and if you find any of it helpful, please support our channel with some custom RunPlayBack merch. Also, big shout out to Underground Printing for producing our merch. They're also responsible for domestic shipping, customer service, and getting these products to you as quickly as possible. I can't wait to see you guys rocking these pieces while sharing the same passion for all things EV. So let's be creative and save money at the same time. So before we ride, let's talk about the specs. The battery is about 16.25 inches tall by 5 inches wide by 6 inches long with a weight of about 32 pounds. The pack uses one of the most sought after cells on the market, which is the A-Molicel 21700 cell with a 4,200 milliamp hour nominal capacity. It features a 300 amp continuous discharge and a 450 amp peak discharge with smart BMS, cell level fusing, and a custom PCB. The connections use the standard Sur-Ron connector located on the top right and charging port on the left side. As far as the charger goes, we opted for the ChiBatterySystems 72.6 volt variable rapid charger. As big fans of the Grintech satiator, we love the option of full control to set up optimal charging scenarios for the Gladiator. There's 5 charging modes, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 amps, along with charge targets of 80, 90, and 100%. Most lithium batteries are capable of a vastly improved cycle life if they're charged slowly and not fully charged to 100% saturation all the time. Other features on the Gladiator 66 Compact include stock lid extension hardware, a custom LED display for cell monitoring, a reinforced handle for easy carrying, a steel enclosure, and cell level fusing to significantly reduce the chance of catastrophic failure. Here's a little more detail from ChiBatterySystems.
The enclosures basically start as a big steel sheet, and that's then cut on our big fiber laser. It is taken over to the metal workstation where we have it all shaped correctly. Then it gets laser welded together, which then goes and gets powder coated. It gets laser etched. It gives us the ability to not only have the labels have a much cleaner aesthetic look, but it opens up more customization options as well. I think we all take a lot of pride in that, down to the core of these batteries, we are making as much as we can. like right here.
So the big question is, should you go for the 66 volt or 72 volt Gladiator in the stock controller? If you plan to keep the stock controller, the 66 volt will give you 20% more power and 10 to 20% more speed. This will vary depending on setup. The smaller the sprocket, the higher your top speed. So let's say you've upgraded the controller to something like the ASI BAC4000. The Gladiator 66 volt can provide up to 22 kilowatts of continuous power. On the other end, the 72 volt Gladiator Compact provides 5 times the power output and 20% more speed compared to the stock battery. The 66 volt Gladiator feels like the best compromise between 60 volts or 72 volts. If you're running a stock controller, it's as simple as dropping in the battery for a power and speed upgrade. If you've already upgraded your controller and are running a 72 volt Compact, you'll gain more amp hours without entirely sacrificing the punch of a 72 volt system. And finally, if you want to run the stock controller before investing in an aftermarket controller, this is the battery for you. And once you do upgrade the controller, you'll be able to unlock even more functionality. So now that we've covered the specs, let's test it out on the ASI BAC4000. Here's the old battery in the Gen 1. The battery leads are coming out from the back, and this was kind of an issue. We'd usually get in the way where you'd pinch the leads, so hopefully the Gen 2 solves this issue. You'll notice that the size is pretty similar. I think the 66 volt is maybe a little bit higher. Obviously the quality, you have a steel enclosure versus the rubberized enclosure. Again, the lead is coming out from the sides over here on the Gen 2, and the Gen 1 has the leads coming out from the back. The display, you have all this information that you could read real time as you're riding, and here you just see the battery percentage. Even the display here is much brighter. It's almost like a blue color, whereas this is just kind of a dull gray. Injection molded top, and you have 3D printed top over here. The charging ports are located on the same side, the top left. You'll notice that the Gen 1 has 2 pins, and this one has 5 pins. All right, so we'll put the steel enclosure in. There you go. Slides right in. We already installed our hardware, the injection molded lid spacer over here, as well as the hinges over here. And you'll see that the leads attach pretty easily like that, and then the cover comes down. So let's change some of the settings in the GLE dashboard. So we're gonna go to the battery icon. First thing we wanna do is change the battery voltage to 18S, 64.8 volts. This should be able to handle the kilowatts that I have inputted here. Street mode is 5,000, pretty low just because we're practicing wheelies. We want to do some slow wheelies. Ludicrous mode, we have it at 8,000, but of course you could bump this up, I think, all the way to maybe 11 or 10. I keep it pretty conservative just because I'm not really going too fast. Now the motor peak phase current, now it says it can reach 450 amps peak. If we notice any motor cutoffs, we'll probably have to change the 420 amps motor peak phase current. That's pretty much it. Once you change those settings, you'll see the battery level is reflecting the actual readings. So max voltage on this battery is actually 75.6, 52.2 volts on the low voltage cutoff. So 81%, and then 70.2 volts on the battery itself. That seems to be about 80%. If 75.6 volts is the max, then 70.2 looks to be about 81%. So that looks calibrated, and I think we're ready to take it out for a ride and see how the 66 volt feels compared to our 72 volt.
Now it is like super cold right now in Michigan. It was about 20 degrees earlier. I am super layered up. The battery is definitely going to be affected by this cold, but overall right now this acceleration feels really, really good. I mean, I don't see a huge difference between the 66 volt and the 72 volt, to be honest. Acceleration, look at that, really nice. I mean, yeah, it's I mean, obviously we're on this 25 mile per hour road, but cars usually take this at 35, 40. So I don't have my speedometer up right now to know exactly how fast I'm going, but it's definitely keeping up with traffic. The choice between 60 volts and 72 volts seems like a big issue with a lot of people in the Sur-Ron community. It's surprising that no one thought about 66 volts, but you know, I know Chi kind of had it in mind for quite a long time, and I think the big part of them wanting to sell 66 volts is that you don't have to upgrade the controller. So you can put this on the stock controller, but I got to tell you right now, with a BAC4000 66 volts, this is really all you'll probably need for the most part. I ride street primarily, but I could see this being perfect for a trail setup, off-road setup, where most off-road people like 60 volts because they can get the max amount of range. But maybe like if they want to take it on the street, if they want to take it into traffic, having 66 volts would actually be really good for them as well, just because they'll have that extra amount of power without really sacrificing the range by going 72 volts, especially 72 volt compact. Even though this is described as a compact, it does feel a little bit bigger than the Gen 1, just because the enclosure is different, and there's just a lot more upgrades, like cosmetically, to the case, where I think it does make it just a little bit larger. But it is cold. I think it's like 20 degrees, but with the wind chill, I mean, it's probably like maybe in the single digits right now. So we're gonna do a top speed test, but let's go further down. That way we have the most amount of room to do it here. So we are in ludicrous mode. We're at 9 kilowatts. Let me get out of the ice here. Very icy. And I have supermoto tires, of course, which will give me, a little bit better traction or more top speed on here. Okay, here we go. So let's get around this corner first. Oh, it says I'm at 40 already. There we go. 48, 49, 52, whoa. 53, 45, 56. All right. Definitely 56, 57 maybe. That's a lot. We don't really like to go that fast on this bike. I know some people do. I know the New York guys love the top speed. Shout out to Surron, NYC. Shout out to all those dudes. We're gonna meet up with them in Florida for the Tampa ride. So I'm sure a lot of them will be interested in this video because some of them are interested in the 66 volt. But yeah, I mean, this is really all the power. I bet if I bumped up the kilowatts, I definitely would have hit 60. Range is going to be dependent on your terrain, obviously, and your weight. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? I think the big reason why I wanted to do 66 volt outside of like not really needing 72 volt power is that the compact has more range. It's 42.5 amp hours compared to the 38.2 amp hours. That was okay. Whew. That feels way better. Yeah, there we go. 6,000 feels about right.
So now that we've tried it on the ASI BAC4000 controller, let's try it out on the stock Sur-Ron controller.
After watching Surronster's video online and seeing a couple other people review the battery, it looks like they are getting a bit of a power increase out of it. So hopefully I notice a difference here. So I really like the 60 volt. Every single 72 volt bike that I've ridden, because they all have to have a BAC, I don't like the lag in the throttle. It's just a little bit and it just throws me off. I don't know why I don't like it, but it's just preference. I don't like it. Coming from the 60, it's just smooth the whole time, and there's just not really, I mean, with the 72 volt, yeah, you have all the power and yeah, you can pop it up and keep it going, but I mean, you don't really need it to wheelie. It's just not necessary. It's overkill. As long as I still have the same throttle feel, it should be exactly the same, which I think it should be the same throttle feel with using the stock controllers. I'm gonna do some stunting around the lot, and then I'm gonna head down the road and I'm gonna do a top speed run. All right, so initial thoughts coming into this turn here. Feels exactly the same. The throttle is exactly what I want. This is my first time riding my bike since I put it back together as well, so I'm still getting kind of used to it. Oh my gosh, comes up so much quicker. Because it's still not enough to just power wheelie. You still got to use the suspension. Not used to having a rear fender either. All right guys, we're about to race the stock 60 volt Sur-Ron versus the 66 with a stock controller. And we're gonna see what happens. All right, whenever we wanna honk it out. Ready? I only hit 39 right there. But that's because my 54 tooth sprocket. $30, $36, $38, $39, $40. $40 miles an hour. It's a lot more powerful in the low to mid-range. Feels about the same on the top end. For wheelies and stunting, if you need just a little bit more than what the stock gives you, it'll definitely do that. And it feels really good. The throttle is exactly what you want from your stock controller. It feels exactly the same. It's just like the 60s in there with a little, like maybe a extra kilowatt to the tune, which I believe that's what it is. And I really hope that they make one with more amp hour in the future. I think that would be really cool.
Overall, we're really impressed with the quality of the Gen 2 Gladiator 66 volt compact. Of course, ChiBatterySystems has done it again, which makes them an industry leader in the light electric vehicle world. Definitely check out our last video where we did a second tour of their facility. It's a great inside look at one of the best US-based PEV battery manufacturers out there. So if you're looking for a high quality battery with exceptional customer service, the ChiBatterySystems Gladiator 66 volt compact is a solid recommend. If you want to dive into more EV tech tips, click the links on the side and remember to like and subscribe so we can help you find tech deals that fit your lifestyle. We'll see you guys in the next video.